Okay. So this is our first review for our Omni task. I feel like you can't hear me. Okay. And I guess we're gonna do like we did last time and just go around the room and kind of talk about some things, some of our feedback and what we found were good and what we had questions with, what we're gonna add. Because there's a couple things I'm gonna add, and we can go down using the requirements from the feedback rubric.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Does anyone want to start? I guess I'll start. Okay. Well, I can start, but I guess I can start by just discussing. My biggest issue was trying to figure out what they were asking us to do. And once I kind of figured out exactly what they wanted, which I still partly don't know, it's so broad, then I tried to put in everything that I thought they wanted, but I still found from my coach's review that I was missing some things. So I tried to align it to the state, the national, and the federal. Um, I tried to include those pieces of information. Let's see what else. Our school budget is a little different, so I tried to figure out the regular school budget compared to the alternative school budget. It was a little difficult because it seems like my principal really didn't have a good grasp on it. This is her first year as a principal, period, versus going from somewhere else. What else? I'll come back to that question about the Lauren, you said something about the CEs and the IEPs, and I'm gonna come back to that question sort of to ask you what exactly. I'm just come back to that one. And then I do note that you guys gave me both the same error, so that was good. And that was it. Besides my appendix, I did not include the schedule. I'm going to also go back and include the master schedule and the duty rosters and stuff like that. So I have to clean up that stuff that I guess I forgot to put it in there. But my question was, if we don't do anything special with IEPs or we don't have any specialized programs, then what should I do? Just say that?
Yeah, I think I would just put it in there, just say since, your school is not your typical or has the traditional school, I can't think of what I'm trying to say, but anyway, I would just put that you guys don't really have any special programs for exceptional children or IEP.
Okay. And so I'm done. If anybody else wants to chime in.
Okay. Well, mine, I had submitted it to like on the internship shell under the discussion board for the student review or whatever, and Dr. Lamb had reviewed mine, and he put that I needed to add in my master schedule, supervision schedule, duty roster, and academic performance data from the North Carolina report card. So I think I need to go back and add those things before I submit to TaskStream. So I know this is a dumb question, but a duty roster, would that be like the difference? Like I know the master schedule is the master schedule, but duty roster, is that just like for all staff members?
Yeah, that would include like bus duty, and if you have to do lunch duty,
right?
If you have to do any type of special event where you're assigned to a particular place.
But then I would need to put that for everybody's duty roster or just mine?
Probably the whole school.
Yeah, I would say the whole school.
So if you could get a draft of the duty roster from your principal,
okay,
of what everyone should be doing, like a master list.
I think we probably have something like that in our handbook that I can probably just add to it.
Yeah.
Are you guys gonna put that as like in the narrative, or are you gonna put it as an appendix or at the end?
It would probably be good as an appendix at the end and just mention it in the narrative.
Okay.
That way you could, if it's in your handbook, you could, if it's a digital handbook, you could do a screenshot of it or something like that and then put it in the appendix.
So if I do that and I use the handbook, which our handbook is like on Google Docs, would that still be considered like what I need to use that, like put that as a reference, or I still would?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, you can just say whatever the school name, handbook, and then 2017, because that's probably when it was originally published on Google Docs.
Mm-hmm.
And then just that would pretty much be, like as far as publisher information or anything like that. I mean, it's the school, so I don't know if APA has a specific format for like Google Docs, shared documents and stuff like that. But yeah, I'd still list it in the references. Okay. So Lauren, he said add the master schedule, the duty roster, the academic performance data from the school report card. Was there something else?
Master schedule, supervision schedule, duty roster, and academic performance data. Yeah, that was it.
Okay.
And the academic performance data, yeah, came from he put in parentheses from the NC report card.
Okay.
So I was missing that.
Okay. Yeah. Because I didn't have any of that stuff, obviously, but in the directions, none of that was mentioned, so I didn't think about it. So.
Yeah, and Dr. Robertson had commented, and he just said submit it, so I thought that it was okay, but then when I submitted it, then I got that feedback, so I guess I'll go back and add it.
Okay.
I'd rather add it now than, I guess, get it denied or something, or graded wrong.
One of the things about mine was like in the school profile, I just copied and pasted from like the APTEL or the app, one of those from last semester. And one of the things that I want to ask Dr. Robertson about is they submit everything now through Turnitin. And so since those evidences were submitted to TaskStream last semester, all that stuff is now in the database. So it'll pop up and the document will light up like a Christmas tree. So I wanted to make a note to ask him if that was, if there was some way we needed to indicate that, because it seems silly to me to write it all over again when you can just copy and paste from what you've already done.
Right. But I was thinking the same thing, and that's what I had done. Because I remember doing the school profile, and I was like, well, like you said, it's kind of silly to do it all over again when I knew I already had that data there. So I did the same thing.
Okay. All right. Anything else, or is it my turn?
Well, I was looking for my feedback. Oh, it says the same thing. And it says supervision schedule. So I'm not sure if that's the same as the duty roster.
Does it say both or just the one?
It says master schedule, duty roster, and supervision schedule. So now I wonder, what's a supervision schedule?
Yeah, we don't really have, we have what I would consider a duty roster, like you said, where we do and all that, but we don't really necessarily have a supervision schedule.
Yeah. I'm not really sure. Because we have, at the middle school where I was, there's a like car rider, bus rider duty, and then game supervision, like, we have to do basketball games and football games and all that kind of stuff. So to me, that seems more like supervision, even though it's an extra duty. So I'm not really sure, like you guys, I'm not really sure what the difference is between the two. But anyway.
Well, I Googled it, so I'm looking at it now, so I'll look at it while you're talking. Maybe I can come up with something.
All right. I think the biggest thing for me was, as I was, after I had posted mine, I thought about as far as the district context and the federal or the state context, I didn't really do a good job with that, situating the school within the district. So that's something I want to go back and add before I do that. And as far as the budget process is concerned, when I talked to the principal about it, she just sort of talked through it, but there was never, like, I didn't have any documents or anything to look at. So I need to touch base with her again on that specifically. Lauren, you talked about the school improvement team having any say-so in budgeting decisions. Sort of. She just, in the past couple of years, has sort of said, okay, these are the things that I want to do. This is how I want to spend the money. And they either approved it or, I mean, they approved it. There was never any discussion about that. So it's sort of like their role is as to say yay or nay to it, but nobody has really bucked that. And so then also adding the part about where the Title I funds come in and how she's used some of those Title I funds to give us those additional teachers for math and reading for the lower performing kids. But anyway, I think there's just some stuff that I know I need to go back and add. But other than that, I think it was pretty, well, I won't say it was pretty straightforward, but I mean, the information was just sort of like basic information. It was all about just trying to find out where to get it all from. So
Yeah.
it wasn't as involved as some of the other things have been.
I will say that it kind of, today I was trying to get a look at task 2.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm a little bit, I don't know the right word, but it's kind of, task 2 is kind of, looks kind of daunting to me.
Overwhelmed.
Yeah. So like task 1, I felt like you said, like I had the information, so it was just a matter of kind of putting it out there.
Mm-hmm.
And for task 2, I'm like, ugh, there's like a lot of information, and I don't really know. I'm the kind of person where I have to have like a vision, and I have to know where I'm going, and I don't know where I'm going with that. So do y'all have any, like, how are y'all feeling about task 2? I know I just kind of jumped over task 1. I'm sorry.
Fine.
I looked at it, and it seems like it's taking a couple of tasks that we've done before and combining it into one big do everything with this one particular task. But I'm not sure. I looked at it, but I haven't started on it, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm trying to figure out where to go to get all the information from.
Right. And I think that, like, just looking at it, the first thing, like the prompt, underneath the prompt, it gives, all the bullets and stuff. And the first one is that this formal program proposal approved by the site mentor. So I guess that's our principal. So then, like, normally when I write up a task, I kind of start at the first bullet and just kind of make sure that I have all of them together. But in my mind, I'm thinking, well, how can I write about proposing the program to my principal if I haven't really wrote about what the program is,
Mm-hmm.
So then I'm like, how am I going to, write that up? And there's not really an example, and I want an example. So
that's the thing I think that's missing. And I know they want it to be open and for us to just kind of do our own thing, but I need examples. I don't need something to copy, but I need an idea of where you want me to go with it.
Right.
So I need it, yeah.
Michelle, have you looked at task 2 as far as like in your head, like thinking about?
I talked to my principal about it briefly. I mean, we talked about the whole OMA, but as far as wrapping my head around task 2, I haven't completely done that yet. That's why I pulled it up to sort of look at it again. it talks about grade level or subject area team has to support instruction and, most important, the ability to effectively use these resources to engage students and deepen learning. And then it talks about 4 types of instructional resources. And so I don't know.
So here's my question. Is it asking us to create a program for special learners that includes an assessment, something else? That's what I'm getting, that they're asking us to create a program within our school for exceptional learners.
Develop a program for instructional capacity building. So instructional capacity building almost says to me, it's sort of like, what can we do to help all of the teachers in the building be able to serve these students?
Exceptional learning.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's almost like developing some type of professional development or something.
Well, professional development is one of the pieces that we have to come up with. Okay, I'm looking at the
task 2.
I'm looking at, if you go down where they break them all down into prompt, emerging, developing, proficient.
The rubric.
Yeah, I kind of use the rubric to kind of help me go through. Yeah. And one of the things in the rubric is develop professional development activity. So do we have to develop a budget too within the budget?
Formative assessment plan. Aligned with each identified area for growth that reflects understanding of tools of inquiry and evaluation and how the assessment process must be aligned. So that's interesting. So it looks like to me that you're sort of designing a program for the teachers for professional development, and it has to include this formative assessment piece, and it has to include specific references to the federal, state, and local compliance issues, which, I mean, you need to, if you're talking about compliance and EC, you need to know all of those things, which is a massive amount of stuff.
Yeah, it's a lot.
What does EC stand for?
Exceptional children.
Children. I was like, what's the C? Okay. Okay. I'm so used to saying learners, I guess. Children. They switch back.
Yeah, this seems like a really huge thing.
Yeah, and like I had, like when my principal and I had talked about the OMA a while back, I had kind of thought about like an idea as far as a plan for teachers to be able to like look at data more and analyze data more. And so we had come up with like data days is what we were calling them, where like each grade level would have a day to come and plan and look at data and like, you know, to try to think about next steps moving forward. And they would also have like professional development during that day. So that would take care of the professional development piece. The reason I wanted to do it like each grade level have a day, but then because I didn't want to bite off more than I could chew and like have this something that couldn't be sustained. But then looking at this and like what we were just talking about, by it being like a program and like instructional capacity, like I almost feel like they want it to be, and it could be sustained like year to year, but I don't know about like it could be, if it could be something that's like every quarter, you know, or if it's like, so I don't know if that would work. I don't know. I guess I need to do some more like research and thinking and planning, but I didn't know if you guys had any ideas or if you've been thinking about what you're going to do.
One of the things that my principal, I guess when she was looking at it, our school was or my former school, Charlotte Middle School, is currently this year they have entered into an agreement with SREB, Southeastern Regional Educational Board or something, and they're coming in 2 days every month, and they're doing professional development with the math teachers. And one day they go around and observe the math teachers teaching a lesson that they plan together. And then the next day they sit through a day of professional development. And the principal suggested that that could be, the thing, but that's not for all of the teachers. And so that's not, building capacity with anybody outside of the math department. So that may be something that we need to rethink, because based on this, it looks like it's something that needs to impact all of the faculty in some way.
Unless you were to start with the math department and then expand to
the
department.
You could do that. Because she was talking about using the data that shows, our math scores are pretty much stagnant, and bringing this in, which they paid a lot of money for it, like $10,000, to come in and work with the math teachers in the building to try and improve the math scores. So yeah, I guess we could start with math and move outward.
It does say a subject area team.
Mm-hmm.
It says resources for teaching in the district, school, grade level, or subject area team has to support instruction and, most important, the ability to effectively blah blah blah. So I think it depends on interpretation of this one, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like if you start out too broad and too big, then at this point in the year, you're going to get some pushback.
Yeah.
If you try to do too much.
Yeah, and over in that accomplished column on the rubric, or on the far right, it says, evidence of implementation. I think it, if something's already going on, like the SREB stuff that I'm talking about, then you can obviously have evidence of implementation. But I mean, we're looking at February,
Yes.
So it's difficult to start anything new at this point in the year.
Well, did we have anything else sorry to skip over the rest of task 1. That was just on my mind to ask about task 2. Did we have anything else for task 1?
No, it seems like we've covered it.
Yeah, I think so.
So if we don't have anything else for task 1, I guess we can end the session, and then we'll meet again next week.
Is it next Thursday? Isn't it next Thursday?
Yeah, the 15th, which I have a professional development out of town next Thursday. It ends at 3:00. I should be home in time, so I may be running a little bit late, but I'll go ahead and set the meeting up so that you can join if I'm not there, and then I'll get there as soon as I can if I'm not already there.
Okay.
Okay. And if something comes up, just let us know.
Okay.
And we can. I'm flexible to reschedule. It was just those particular dates that I gave you that I couldn't, but other than that, I'm open.
Yeah.
So that you don't have to rush.
Mm-hmm.
Well, looking at this task 2 right now, I'm a little bit concerned about being able to get it all taken care of.
You might have to push it back till Sunday.
Yeah.
Just to get it done.
That's fine. Just we'll be in touch, and then if we need to reschedule, that'll be fine.
Yeah, because we did build in like 2 weeks of free time, so thank God we did that.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I think once we get past the task 2, I don't think the rest of it will be that bad because the third task is just about the actual scheduling of the program or whatever that we come up with. And then the fourth one is the reflection. So I think
Okay.
task 2 is what's going to be like the
Eating most of the time.
monster. Yeah. So.
Okay. Is there anything else?
Oh, one more question. Did either of you get an email from last name was Ramsey's? It was about, did either of you have Dr. Palermo as your clinical coach?
No.
No.
Oh, okay. I did, but I got an email from another person saying that I had a Zoom tomorrow night, and I didn't know who it was. So apparently, my clinical coach changed. So I didn't know. That must just be me and some other people. Then I couldn't remember if you got who you guys had.
No, I have Dr. Whitaker.
I had Dr. Roberson.
Okay. I had Dr. Palermo, and now I guess it has changed. So I don't really know why, but so I'll be Zooming tomorrow night with the new person.
Okay. If you learn anything important, let us know.
I will. All right, ladies. Well, y'all have a good night.
All right. You too. Good night.
Good night.